Hello and welcome to this video about inspiration for social media versus copying. So why have I put this video together today? The reason is it's something that I've been struggling with a little bit, and I've had a couple of light bulb moments, and I love to share those light bulb moments with people. So I'm a passionate believer in inspiration is a good thing. It's kind of food for my soul. It's where I get my energy from. It might be somebody I've spoken to. It might be somebody that I've seen on social media. It might be something I've read. It might be something that I've watched. It could be anything, but that inspiration fires off like different ideas that I want to do. But I then got a little bit stuck in my own way, how unusual, thinking about, hold on a minute, what's the difference between being inspired to do something and it being copying? I had to take a little bit of a step back and kind of go back to like school and college days and think about this word plagiarism. So I remember when I was at school, that if you were doing some research, now I'm old, so if I was researching, it was out of a book, okay? If you're doing some research and you're reading a book and you literally wrote out the passage of the book into your essay, that was called plagiarism. Okay, so I've got a book that I'm reading at the moment, this one here. A chap called David Barber wrote this book, and I found it quite inspiring. But if I was to literally take one of his sentences and type it as my own, there's the key. Type it as my own. Make it as if these were my words, then that is plagiarism because they're not my words, they're David's words. Now, David's going to have spent an awful lot of time and energy coming up with those words, editing, all those sorts of things. And it's pretty naff for me to pretend that they're my words. But here's a massive thing, okay? I can read David's book, so I can read this book, I can be inspired by what he's saying, and I can reword his message in my own words, which is completely different. Or if I think, do you know what? The way he's phrased that is just perfect and I don't want to change it, then I can quote that he wrote it and he inspired me to do something. So this whole thing that I was getting myself tied up in a little bit of knots over, which is if I see somebody pop a post on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and I think, gee, that's brilliant. Actually, I've got two choices of how I can go forward that fit into a category for me that are comfortable. Okay. So the first one is I can quote them, saw this from David and thought it was brilliant, wanted to share it with you, or I can actually completely reword it or do my version of it and be able to have it as my own inspiration. I'll give you a practical example because I love a practical example. So there's a lovely lady called Victoria Halston who comes up with some wicked ideas that I'm just like, oh, I'm so jealous I didn't come up with that myself. But I'm not bothered because I use it as inspiration. Now, she put a post up on Facebook, I think it was on the weekend, that showed the different things in her life that her business have paid for and kind of broke it down into tiny little steps about bought this for the kids and it was just getting this many orders from customers that paid for it, and it was genius in its simplicity. A couple of things that I did: first off, I dropped her a message telling her that I thought she was a genius. Who wouldn't love that message? Another thing that I did was said, would you mind if I took this as inspiration for doing my own take on this? Which she didn't have a problem at all. Do you know what we did on Monday? We went and picked up our orders and treated ourselves to a cheeky takeaway lunch. sat in the beautiful sunshine eating it, and I put a post up on Facebook saying that we'd earn over £100 picking up our orders, paid for a part of it paid for lunch. Obviously didn't spend £100 on a takeaway. But I think that's a really, really, really good example. Now, in that example, it really wouldn't have worked if I'd actually taken Victoria's post of her child and popped it on Facebook, because if you know me, you know I haven't got any children. So it wouldn't have worked. But I think it's a really good example of where you can be inspired by something. Give people the credit if you want to, ask their permission if you want to. I don't think it's compulsory. It depends on who you are and your relationship with the person. But that inspiration can take you an awful long way. I hope you found this video helpful and look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. Bye.